Hello again, beautiful beings, and welcome back to another live at 5:55. I need to pre-apologize to everyone because there is construction that's going on in the background today. So if you hear drilling, if you hear hammering, if you hear literally anything, I'm sorry, but tons of information today, as per usual, lots of stuff to get through. I'm embodying my bear energy today, so lots of fun stuff. And we're also live on Instagram today. So hi, Instagram. We've got Facebook over there. We've got YouTube right there. We've got Instagram today. So hello, everyone. Thank you all so much. Hopefully, Instagram, you guys can hear me just because the sound's a little off. So hi. Oh, first time here. Hello, Stacy. Welcome to Facebook and welcome to the live video. We've already got quite a big group here happening on YouTube. So hey, everyone on YouTube. Today we're talking about dark energy. We cannot talk about the awakening if we do not talk about I don't want to say evil because evil doesn't exist, but we have to talk about the negativity. We have to talk about the darkness. And if anyone here has been attacked, okay, psychically attacked, if you've been having bad dreams, you definitely want to stay tuned for this entire live video today. Once again, tons of jam-packed information. We're going to be talking about the darkness within the awakening. Why? Why do we all have to experience darkness in order to awaken? It's a natural part of awakening. So I'm going to be talking about the Dark Side 101. I'm going to be talking about a soul's journey. You know, how do we get back to source? How do we get back to a place of enlightenment and awakening? We have to go through, you know, lower vibrations, lower dimensions. So we'll talk about that. I'm also going to be breaking down the third, fourth, and fifth dimension. We're going to be talking about the layers of ascension, which is going to be really good. I'm also going to tell you all about a little bit of protection. What can you do based on my experiences? What can you do to protect yourself from dark or, you know, bad entities, right? And it's going to be really interesting because it's not the typical form of protection that you may have heard of in the past. This is going to be very different today. I also have a really awesome manifestation tip for all of you today. I mean, I think everyone's kind of in this realm of, what's next? I mean, what do you want? Where are we going, right? You know, how do you feel in this moment? So I'm going to be giving you a manifestation tip. And then I have a really awesome exercise I want to take through with all of you. And the exercise is going to be, it's going to be facing your fear. Okay. So this is going to be a really impactful exercise. If you want to overcome your fear, if you want to ascend to the next vibrational level, I think we're all here because we all want to ascend. If you want to ascend to the next vibrational level, you want to stay tuned for this fear versus love exercise. We're going to be getting rid of your fears today. Okay. So, okay, and then if we have time, I really want to talk about 3D memory versus 5D memory, okay? So what is memory? How do we store it in our brain? And then how do we basically let go of 3D memory to raise our vibration and consciousness to 5D memory? It's a concept that I've just created. I kind of made it up on my own, but it is so relevant. And if any of you have felt like you've been losing your memory over the past year, especially, but over the past 3 years, if you've been losing your memory, then you want to stay tuned for the memory information as well. Okay, we don't need the old 3D traditional form of memory anymore. We don't need it. It's time to level up and move on. Hey, everyone on Instagram. And yes, I just want to point it out to everyone. If you resonate with my my information, my channeling, if there's something that really speaks to you, please hit the little thumbs up button or the heart button. That tells me that you are all vibing with me, and it's easier for me to channel and look at little hearts or little thumbs up rather than looking at comments. It's just too many platforms. It's too many comments. I love you all. I go through your comments after, but I just can't do it while I'm, you know, while I'm channeling. So just a reminder there. Then I'm going to go through announcements at the end, and I'm going to go through a channeled message. If you were on last week's live, you know how crazy that last message was. And turns out I ended up predicting, without needing to or wanting to predict it, I predicted the earthquake that happened in, it wasn't Antarctica, it was, oh my goodness, Alaska. Yes. And so I literally saw this huge crack, like this huge division, huge crack in the earth. And turns out a few days later, that's exactly what happened in Alaska. So my heart goes out to everyone in Alaska. And that told me that I need to do end messages more. I need to channel for the group more often. So today I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to be ending this live video with a group message, tuning into your vibration, see what's going on, and see what all of you need to know at this time. Okay, and then of course, as per usual, I am doing a draw today as well. And I've got a little drawing for all of you as well, because, I figured I'd explain myself through art today. I don't know, it just kind of came to me. Okay, so let's start off with the announcements, and then we'll deep dive into the information, lots to get to. Okay, so first of all, my calendar, the Awakening calendar, is finally done. Oh my goodness, it took me so long. But I literally sat in meditation. I asked for the information and the messages for 2019. What does everyone need to know in January, February, March, all the way leading up to December? What do people need to know? So I channeled divine messages. I put the messages and homework, monthly homework for all of you in a calendar. It's called the EA Awakening calendar or whatever. So that is going to be available to you. I believe my lovely assistant has posted it on Facebook and YouTube. So that actually hasn't officially been released yet, but it is officially released today. Everyone who has pre-ordered your calendars, you get a channeled message from me, and that will be shipped out today. So you can expect your calendars this week. Okay, awesome. My next webinar, okay, super, super dear to my heart, really important, is about mental health, depression, and anxiety, okay? If you or anyone else you love is going through depression and anxiety, this is a great gift for them. This is something that you can attend and you can relay the information, okay? So I went through heavy depression to get to where I am in my awakening, and I believe almost every human has to go through a period of anxiety and depression to basically get to a place of awakening. So that's going to be my next webinar. It's an hour and a half long. It's $44 Canadian, and it's going to be December 9th. So that's actually this Sunday, December 9th. So please purchase your tickets now. An email will be going out to you this week with all of the information, and it's going to be held on Zoom, okay? So check that out. Basically, the webinar is going to be about how to be happy. I mean, how do we understand all of this truth, all of the suffering, all of the corruption, and how do we still find happiness and our own inner truth and authenticity within that? So that's coming to you. And then what else? Just be aware that I just released an exclusive telepathic video, okay, on YouTube this past Friday. So if you haven't already seen my telepathic video, you want to check that out. It's basically my first experiences with telepathy, okay? Let me know how you like that. Last but not least, as far as announcements are concerned, I'm having a huge giveaway. I'm so excited. I really want to drive people to Instagram because I don't know why. It's kind of been like a dead social media for me, but I'm really bad at posting on Instagram because I guess I just don't care enough. But anyway, so all you have to do is like my photo on Instagram, follow me and tag a friend, and you will be entered to win a bunch of free merchandise, a free calendar, a free t-shirt, and a free crystal Palo Santo set. So Instagram, okay, if you're watching this and you haven't already liked my page, follow my page and you will be entered to win, along with tagging a friend and liking the photo. And that's it. That's all you got to do. Your name goes into the draw. So that's going to be going on for about 3 weeks. So check that out. All right. Okay, so let's talk about it. So once again, today we're talking about the darkness within the awakening. I mean, I basically would be a false prophet or a charlatan if I said, oh, the awakening is all beautiful love and, and light, and that's it. It's just love and light, just love and light. But unfortunately, no, the awakening is not just love and light. We have to realize that the awakening, okay, this ascension that we're going through, also requires a period of darkness. And I think all of us, especially us here listening to this live video, have gone through a period of the dark night of the soul, right? We've all had this ego death, this collapse within this past year. So today we're talking about the dark, okay? And I've been criticized before. I've been criticized of being an over optimist, right? People are like, oh, Elizabeth, it's all just blissful abundance in the future. It's all just good stuff. And I get that. And I really do think that this world is turning for the better. And I think it's going to be an amazing future for all of humanity. But this is why I have these kind of videos, because, the dark does exist in a sense, only in this reality, but we'll talk about that. Okay. So I want to talk about a past life of the week. This is a new segment in my live videos. Basically, I've got lots of clients throughout the week, and I always like talking about one really cool experience that I've had this past week. This week has been full of lots of really cool interdimensional souls, past lifetimes, all of this really cool kind of stuff. But there's actually one experience in particular I wanted to mention today. And it has to do with a really good friend of mine, and she doesn't mind if I say her name. She defends against the darkness, so it's actually really appropriate that I say her name. This is my really good friend Sharma. She lives in the UK, and I checked in with her this week, and I channeled her energy, and her father came through, who had passed away. And her father was a very kind of uptight, stubborn, non-emotional, masculine kind of man, right? And so when I channeled him, he was crossed over to the other side, because I believe I crossed him over last time. Not totally sure. Don't remember what I channeled. But anyway, he was crossed over, and he was a different guy. Like, he was a different man, like altogether. Like, his energy completely changed. He's like, oh, Elizabeth. That's right. I did cross him over because he recognized me. He's like, oh, Elizabeth. He gives me this giant hug, this bear hug. And he says, thank you so much. He says, I went back and I realized all of my faults. I realized all of the decisions that I made. I realized what I did wrong. I realized what I did right. And he says, now I made it my mission to help all of the other men on this world to raise their vibration and get out of the place that he was in, which is so cool. So for me, what I learned from seeing him cross over and be a completely different person, I learned that you don't have to have a physical body to learn lessons. You don't have to be within a lifetime to complete your energy from the past. And that's exactly what he did. So seeing him completely change himself in that way really gave me hope that you could pass away a lonely, grumpy, stubborn individual, and you can completely change who you are over on the other side. That is possible. And that's really cool. So I wanted to relay all of that, and hopefully for the rest of you who maybe have your own stubborn fathers or people over on the other side who you thought, oh, they are not crossing over anytime soon. There is hope for these people. There is hope for these souls, and everyone is finding their own themselves at this time. So, okay, awesome. I want to ask all of you now, how has the past week been for all of you? Like, what's the energy been? Like, I think for me in particular, so comment below. Okay, let me know, comment below. How has the past week been for all of you? And then tell me, where in the world are you from? Like, where are you tuning in from? I love knowing where all of you are. So we've got someone over here from Melbourne, Australia. Hi. What else? Okay, exhausting, slow energy. Okay, confusing. What else? Anyone here on Instagram? How has your week been? Where are you tuning in from? Let me know. Atlanta. Okay. Okay, flat and detached, West Virginia, Australia, Trinidad and Tobago, hi. Okay, Denmark, Connecticut, fantastic. Migraines, reflection, feeling slow. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Okay, Minnesota. Okay, so I would say that this past week for me has kind of been like a blah week. Like, I don't know if anyone else, like, it hasn't been super, super high, hasn't really been super, super low. It's just kind of gone by really fast. But I will say that there was one day this past week where I felt the need to stretch. I was like feeling all like cramped up. And so I was like stretching, I was doing a little bit of like light yoga on my yoga mat, and I was listening to Alan Watts, who's someone who just popped up on YouTube. And I discovered this guy because, once again, I don't really do any external research or look for other channelers. But Alan Watts, okay, if you have not heard of Alan Watts, I think that's his name, he's incredible. Every single word that he says, I resonate with. And I'm like, yes, these are my teachings, but they're not even my teachings. They are the teachings of humanity, the teachings of the universe. You know, we're just conduits of the teachings. It doesn't come from me at 26, you know. So anyway, yeah, so I was like listening to Alan Watts, I was doing some yoga, I was breathing deeply, and I started bawling my eyes out. I started crying so deeply. And I had this profound moment of divine connection with Source. And I could even get emotional just talking about it. And so when I had that divine connection, usually I have this huge onslaught of information that channels through me during that connection. And this time I didn't get one visual, I didn't get one feeling in my body, I didn't get one download. I didn't. And I asked my guides, I'm like, why aren't I receiving anything? Like, why can't I see this, right? Why can't I see this? And they told me, they chuckled and they said, you're supposed to experience this. You're not supposed to see it. You're not supposed to analyze it. You're supposed to experience it. And that's what I did. I surrendered, I cried, and I stopped, and then I cried some more. And I'm a very masculine energy. I don't typically cry, like I don't release energy, but it wasn't a sad cry. It was just this happiness, pure divine happiness. I like to call those kind of moments cosmic euphoria, right? It's this beautiful cosmic euphoria. Okay, fantastic. That was my experience of the week. Other than that, it was kind of just blah. You know, I'm getting a lot of work done, but it's moving by fast. And here we are, beginning of December. How exciting is this, right? I mean, we're so ready. Oh yeah, also I wanted to mention, all of you on Instagram probably already know, but I have had interdimensional beings visit me in my condo this past week. And I've caught them on tape, believe it or not. I have caught interdimensional beings on tape. Now, they're just little orbs. They're little orb beings, right? And I've released those videos on Instagram. So if you want to check out some really cool interdimensional orbs, I'm going to be posting them on probably Facebook, I guess. Maybe I'll post a video on YouTube as well, or whatever, make a compilation. But so cool. Like, they are so cute, and they like go around, they flash their beautiful colors. And anyway, you'll see it, you'll check it out. So keep in mind that was really cool this past week as well. And then the one night they showed me this beautiful video of like 5 of them all flashing around. And then that was it. I knew in that moment, I'm like, they're gone. They left, you know, and then that's it. I never got another motion detector alert, you know, not another video after that. But I knew in that moment that was their send off. That was their goodbye. You know, they were with us for probably 4 or 5 days, which is really cool. All right. I'm going to take a sip of water, and then we're going to get into the dark side of spirituality. You know what? I put it out to the universe. I'm like, please, please, please hold off on your construction. And so far we've been good. So I'm like, I don't want to speak too soon. Okay. So, I want to start off with my first experience with darkness. No, it's not even my first experience. It's, one of the most fucked up experiences, part of my language, that I've had, okay, with dark energy. So I just want to talk about darkness or dark energy. So when I say the darkness, you know, I hate using the word evil because it doesn't exist, okay? Evil is just such a construct. So when I say darkness, all I mean, okay, is a lower vibrational frequency. That's it. When I say darkness, when I say entities, when I say, other beings of the dark side, it's just a low vibrational frequency. Light vibration is a high vibrational frequency. Love is a high vibration. Fear is a low vibration. That's it. I mean, it's all so scientific. Okay. So, what you have to know is that we live in a binary universe. What that means is that in this universe, we are confined by limitations when we are existing as a singular being. Okay, just let that sink in for a second, okay? When we are singular, which means that we are apart from source, it means that we are separate from source, which means that as we are singular or separate from source, we are confined by limitations. Okay. One of the limitations is the limitation of binary. And right now we're starting to really prove this with quantum physics and quantum mechanics, is that if you have something, you simultaneously don't have it. Okay. It is our observation that decides whether or not we choose the one or the other within the binary system. So when we think about money and finances, there is a parallel version of you out there in this universe somewhere that is living a very financially abundant life. And then there is you in this side of the universe, in this other binary, the opposite of that, which you are suffering financially. Okay, that's a silly example, but that's exactly what it is. In every single moment, okay, both sides of a decision exist simultaneously until we decide to observe it and make a decision on one or the other. Now, if we think about this binary reality, if we think about this binary universe in terms of vibration, we have two choices. Once again, we have the choice of making a high vibrational decision or making a low vibrational decision in every single moment. And until we decide to observe and make that choice, both decisions are simultaneously existing. We can see this in quantum physics with entanglement theory, string theory, Schrodinger's cat, what else? All of the above, okay? So this is definitely a theory that kind of exists out there. So in this binary reality, in this binary universe, we have both the light and the dark. That's why if you're spiritual and maybe you're a teacher and all you talk about all the time is just the light, the light, the light, and the love, and if you only exist in light and love, then nothing else exists. No, that's not the truth. You can't just only solely exist in light and love. I mean, we're human. We're having a human binary linear experience, which means that we're going to experience the dark. We're going to experience pain. We're going to experience, trauma. We're going to experience emotions. And I consider myself living at a pretty high vibration. I still experience frustration and pain and emotion and, all of that great human linear stuff. So you cannot escape the darkness and you can't pretend that it doesn't exist. Okay. So, but also you can't totally allow the darkness and the fear and the negativity to rule your life, because a lot of people are also in that mindset as well. So I'm going to mention the not the first, but the most intense psychic attack I've ever had. Now, I want to let you know that the rule of thumb for spirituality and teachers, okay, spiritual teachers, this is my own rule of thumb, take it or leave it. My rule of thumb for spiritual teachers is the brighter a light you shine, the darker a shadow you cast. So what that means is the higher and the higher and the higher you vibe, okay, the more you attract the darkness, because the rule of this universe is balance. And as if this universe is binary, then we have to bring one into the other and bring it to balance. And that's just kind of what happens. So if you're a spiritual teacher, if you're psychic, if you're clairvoyant, if you are sensitive, which most likely if you're watching this right now, you're a teacher, you're sensitive, you're here for a reason, right? You're listening to this information for a reason. So most likely you have been psychically attacked in your life. So I want to ask all of you, as I'm going into my own psychic attack experience, I want to ask all of you, have you ever been psychically attacked by someone in your life, a physical person, by a dark entity, by a ghost or a spirit, by an attachment, right? A slug, an entity, an attachment. Have you been attacked, psychically attacked in your dreams? Tell me, comment below, let me know. And if you have been attacked, when was it and what was it? What happened to you? Okay, so just release that, just release the energy of that by commenting it below as I go into my own personal, basically attack. Since I have been a very, very young child, I've been psychically attacked multiple times, like actually way more than multiple times, like many, many times. And my understanding of it was the dark side, the low vibration. While I was weak, in a sense, while I was vulnerable, while I was full of fear, I attracted dark forces into my life. Also, predestined contract. I attracted these dark forces to try and take me off of my path before I got strong enough so that they couldn't even come close to me. Okay, so that's yeah. Anyway, so this experience happened almost a year ago, last year. Okay, so this was fairly recent, everyone. And my mom and I went to Spain. It was just the two of us, and every single night of that trip. It was about 10 days. Every single night of that trip, I got psychically attacked in my dreams. And the first 3 nights, I was standing in my power and I said, no, like, you can't affect me. I know who you are. You can't fool me. And by the last 3 or 4 nights of my dreams, I was exhausted. I mean, I wasn't sleeping. It was really brutal. And so what the darkness tends to do, okay, to the light is they cannot take our free will away from us. If we say, no, you can't affect us, they literally can't affect you. If you give your power away by giving fear away, giving them fear, then you're allowing them to affect you, okay? You're giving your power away. You're allowing them to bring fear within you. You are allowing them, right? I say them, but it's just an energy. You're allowing this force of energy to pull your vibration down, okay? You're giving your power away. So one of the worst kind of attacks or dreams that I had was basically what had happened in my dream. It was extremely, extremely, extremely realistic. And what these dark entities or energies can do is they can set up a dream dimension, okay? So what they do is they can literally fake a dream. So it feels like a dream. If anything, it feels like real life. And they try and manipulate you in that dream setting so that you utilize your free will to give your power away. And this will make sense once I communicate exactly what this dream was. So the dream was, I was at home, I was at my mom's house in the dream, but it was very, very realistic. I was at my mom's house and my mom gets a phone call. And the phone call is related to a cousin that I have, okay? And I know her, and we were connected in childhood, but we've been disconnected. Anyway, so my mom gets a phone call, and the phone call is from my cousin's mother. Okay, this is gonna sound kind of confusing. Anyway, so she gets a phone call. The phone call says, hey, is Elizabeth around? We really need her help. We don't know what's going on with our daughter, right? And so my mom relays a message to me, hey, do you have time tonight to go over and check out and see if your cousin's okay? And I said, sure, I have time. Like, let's go do it, right? So my mom and me drive over to their place, and I go in, and they lead me into her room, right? My cousin's room. My cousin is my age, 20-something, mid-20s. And so I go into her room, and she's hunched over, and she's rocking back and forth. And she's talking to herself, / she's talking to this energy, this entity, and she's saying, no, I don't want to do that. Okay, yeah, let's do that. Oh, that's not a good idea. Oh, okay, no, I don't want to hurt her. No, I don't want to hurt her. No, let's do that. And it was just instantly, I knew in that moment. I still didn't pick up on the fact that it was a dream. Instantly in that moment, I felt like, okay, there's something that's within her. There's something that's been attached to her, inside of her, that's talking to her, that's kind of manipulating her. Anyway, so I said, okay, let me help. So I said, let's just say her name is Sarah. Okay, so I said, Sarah, like, I'm going to help you now. Is that okay? Are you okay if I put my hands on you? And she says, yes. And so I put my hand on her lower back, and I put my hand on her chest, and I'm doing energy work, and I'm clearing energy from her. And I see this dark entity that comes out of her, and it's like literally attached to her, and it comes out and it's looking at me. And the dark entity says, I will not leave her unless I am allowed to enter you. You have to give me permission to enter you in order to save her. So here I am, stuck between a rock and a hard place. Here's a family member that I love, and this dark entity is forcing me to make the choice of, do I sacrifice myself for her, or do I let her suffer? And it was so difficult, and I felt it in my gut, and I said, I can't do that. I can't allow you to come into me, but I'm going to try and push you out of her, basically. And I did all this kind of conjuring and energy work, and I pushed her out, and it went out of her, and it like basically attacked me, like it came at me. And it tried to get inside me, like drive up fear and get inside me. Anyway, it didn't work. I ended up leaving, walking away, and I felt so weak, and I felt so like out of my body, and I was like kind of walking around stumbling. And then that's it. And then I woke up, and I realized that that wasn't my own dream. I realized that that was indeed an attack. It was an attack. And basically, if I wasn't strong enough, if I didn't realize what was going on, if I were to sacrifice myself, I would have openly invited this thing, this dark entity, into my body. So once again, I mean, none of you should probably have those kind of experiences unless you're teaching as much as I am, in a sense, you know. But if you are a high vibrational being, guaranteed you will have been manipulated, you will have been controlled, you will have been tempted to take off your path, if that makes sense. I know my words are all over the place, but anyway, so no, the dark entity was not able to basically attack me. And what I say now, every time I have a scary dream, every time there's that kind of energy, what I say now is, bring it on. I mean, every time they attempt to bring me down, I only get stronger, right? And I think I mentioned a couple of lives ago that I had 3 huge dark beings chase me down. And halfway through me running away, scared shitless, I stopped and I said, why am I running? You know, why am I empowering these beings? Why am I giving my power away by allowing them to bring me fear? I turned around in the dream and I faced them, right? It was me, like this little astral body and like these giant freaking beings. And I said, I know all you want is love. I know all you need is love. And I said, come here. And I just give them this giant hug, you know, and I basically obliterated their dark energy into 1,000 pieces of light, which is incredible. So face your fears. Once again, today in this live video, I'm going to be going over an exercise on how all of you can face your fears right now, today. Okay. Okay. So I want to talk about a soul's journey and why we have to experience the dark side in order to experience the light. Okay, so all of us, every single living conscious being has consciousness within them. All of us have consciousness. All of us have a piece of source energy, right? Now, as we get separated from source, the truth, pure consciousness, the more and more we get separated from pure truth and consciousness, the more and more isolated, the more alone, the more anxious, the more depressed, and the more fear we have within us. Connecting ourselves to pure source is connecting ourselves to pure love, which means that we have an infinite connection of love, of high vibrational frequency. So the more we think that we are alone, the more we disempower ourselves, the more we lose who we think we are, the more separated we become. So that's how we drive fear into our lives. Now, I'm talking about a binary world where both the light and the dark exist. The light and the dark only ever exist contained within dimensions. The light and the dark are only ever experienced when we are experiencing a body separate from source. When we go back to pure source energy, the light and the dark do not exist. Fear and love do not exist. It is just oneness. There is no love, there is no attachment, there is no fear, there is no darkness, there is nothing other than everything. Okay, so there's no separation, there's no conceptualization of separation. There's no analysis at all. There's no compartmentalizing. It's just everything. Okay, so once again, our greatest gift as humans, our greatest gift that usurps any and all things that humans are able to do, our greatest gift is free will. No matter what, you have the free will to choose where you are, who you are, your life in every single moment. We are the one and only creators of our life, of our existence. Okay, we can choose whether you are faced with darkness, whether you are faced with poverty, whether you are faced with, your angry boss. You have a choice in that moment to feed into the fear or to meet the fear with love. You have a choice in one or the other. Free will is the thing that will save us from all darkness. That's it. Do you choose the darkness by feeding into the fear, the judgment, the lack, the uncertainty, the questioning? Or do you choose to rise above the darkness by feeding it love? Okay, and then what else? Yes. So humans are really cool because there are some beings across this entire universe who are born into fear. There are some species out there who are literally, they're born into fear. They're born with low vibrational frequency, and it's really difficult for them to rise above the low vibration. Us as humans, unlike what religion tells us, we are not born in sin. We are born completely neutral. And from that place of where we are born in complete divine alignment, from that place, we can choose whether we want to live a life of love or fear, okay? So humans are simultaneously existing through the binary of love or fear, okay? We can choose in every moment. So the other day, I told my girlfriend slash partner, I said, I'm so sorry, babe, I've been really triggered today, right? So I kind of admitted my faults, like blah, blah, blah. But I admitted that I was wrong and I was getting really frustrated and really triggered. And, and I said, look, it's not your fault. And I'm sorry that maybe some of that got projected on you. And I said, I'm being really cold today. I'm being cold like a snowflake. And then all of a sudden, things open up and I have this huge download of an analogy. And the analogy is really cool. And the analogy is of a snowflake. And as they say, there is not one single snowflake that has the same imprint as any other snowflakes in the entire universe, which is really cool, right? So as we get cold, okay, hold on. Think about yourself as a snowflake for a second, okay? Think about yourself as having this unique divine imprint. You are a snowflake, and the colder that you are, the more and more frozen you get as a snowflake, and the more and more separated you become from water. The warmer, more vulnerable, more compassionate you get as a soul, the more and more your snowflake melts into a beautiful pool, ocean, lake, stream of water. You, as you warm up, as you surrender, you get closer and closer and closer to collective consciousness, okay? You are all snowflakes, but at the end of the day, let's all be water together. Does that make sense? I thought that was really cool. So the colder you get, the more you separate yourself from source, the warmer you get, right? The more compassionate and loving and vulnerable you get, the more you align yourself and you melt into the whole. Okay, cool. All right, so what else did I want to talk about? Okay, so we're going to go into the layers of ascension. And the reason why this video got sparked is I had multiple different clients within the past couple of weeks all tell me that they're getting attacked by dark entities or energies in their home and in their sleep. And it seems like from some of your responses and comments as well, you have also experienced attacks and dark energy. And I wouldn't be surprised if you've experienced that recently. So I drew this picture, and it's kind of difficult to see because of the light. It's such an, I'm an artist, like I'm actually an artist, and this is like the best I could come up with, but bear with me. And there you go for Instagram. So I drew this picture, and basically what it looks like, okay, is you've got this is just an analogy, everyone, so please keep this, you know, with a grain of salt. So you've got the earth, you've got this layer on top of earth, and then you've got the layer up on top of here. Now it's all backwards because of the cameras, but you've got the third dimension, the fourth dimension, and you've got the fifth dimension up here. And so the third dimension, the earth, represents it represents the physical world, right? This physical third dimension binary reality, the physical world. The fourth dimension is semi-physical. It's actually the dimension of time, but a lot of dark entities and beings exist within the fourth dimension, okay? A lot of dark entities exist within the fourth dimension. And then you've got the fifth dimension and beyond. So that's why there's a plus there, right? Fifth dimension and beyond. And so within the fifth dimension, of course, time and space don't exist. So here's what happens. This is so interesting. We are making our way from the third dimension to the fifth dimension. We are ascending ourselves from layers upon layers of reality. Now, it's so interesting. This is the visual that I get, and that's why I had to write it out or draw it out, is this is the visual. So we're here on the third, we're experiencing the third dimension. And then we start to ascend, we start to raise our vibrational frequency. And as we raise our vibrational frequency, we move into the fourth dimension, which is super cool. But unfortunately, that's where all the dark entities and energies exist. So a lot of people are like, Elizabeth, what am I doing wrong? Why am I attracting all of these negative experiences? Why am I getting attacked in my dreams? I thought I was raising my vibration, not lowering it. Why am I encountering all of this negative stuff and these beings? And the reason being is because you are ascending and raising your vibration, but you have to go through this fourth density layer of dark energies before you're able to fully ascend and raise to the fifth vibrational frequency. And even for me, as I'm, starting to really exist in the fifth dimensional frequency, if I am really down on myself, if I start, being really hard on myself, if I start binging out on really low vibrational foods, okay, I lower my vibration and I allow myself to be vulnerable to attack. Usually if you drink a lot of alcohol, it lowers your vibration. If you do things and then hate yourself after for doing them, it lowers your vibration. Once again, it's not about the things that you're doing, it's about how you react to the things that you're doing. You have the free will choice to do things that you love. And if you're doing things that you don't like doing, then just stop doing them, or just stop hating yourself for doing things that you don't want to do. It's all about the reaction. It's not about the action itself. It's about the reaction. It is about the action, but it's not really about the action. It's about the reaction. Okay. So once again, if you have been experiencing dark energies or a lot of shifts or a lot of attacks or challenges, it's because you're moving from the third to the fifth, but in between you have to experience and go through the fourth. And I have Dawn here. Hi, Dawn, on Facebook. And you keep commenting about scientific research and how do you prove yourself? Unfortunately, Dawn, I'm not in the space of proving myself because it's kind of a low vibrational frequency to adhere to prove myself. And in the past, in the beginning of my career and my channeling, every person who emailed me and questioned me and said, well, how do you do this? Or where did you come up with that? Or, what are you doing? Or what's the evidence? I used to scramble to try and prove and get that evidence out there. But what I say, Dawn, is that I'm not saying anything that you don't already know within your soul. And the only reason why all of you, including you, Dawn, the only reason why all of you are here listening to this live video right now is because there's something about my vibration that drew your vibration to me, okay? We are all mirror reflections of one another, and you're here for a reason. So I'm not in the business of proving myself. myself. I'm in the business of relaying information that I receive, and it is completely up to you and your own free will as far as whether you want to take that as your own truth or if you want to leave that. But what I like to say is that you're here for a reason. You're listening to this for a reason. You came here for a reason, Dawn. And I want you to get out of your analytical mindset of how do you know that, or prove yourself. I want you to get out of your mind, your headspace, okay? Because I had to do the same. I want you to get out of this, and I want you to get into this. And I just want to say, Dawn, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for asking these really hard-hitting questions and questioning things, because we can't get anywhere in life if we haven't questioned. And guaranteed each and every one of you are listening right now because you've questioned your reality. You've questioned the very essence of your existence, and that's why you're here. So Dawn, thank you for being here. Thank you for questioning things. And I hope that you just listen with an open heart, not necessarily an open mind, but an open heart, and realizing that there's something here for you. And maybe it's just the fact that you need to be open to experiencing things. Okay, awesome. And I always find it funny because it is quantum physics that tells us that we create our own reality, right? Now, the funniest thing, and I call this a paradox within quantum physics, the funniest thing about quantum physics and the fact that we create our own reality is that if you believe what you've been taught in society, that our reality is only contained within this square box, if you believe that, then guess what? You're constantly feeding into the same reality that you've been taught, and you're unable to get outside of what you believe to be true. So the more and more we attach ourselves to belief systems of, oh, well, that can't be so. Well, that's impossible. Well, telepathy isn't real. Telekinesis isn't possible. Science proves that telepathy is real. Science proves that telekinesis is possible through quantum physics. Yet, if you believe what you've been taught in the textbooks in school, then you're constantly feeding a reality that is limited. If you look at life like I do as a student, and you open your mind to say, you know what? Anything is possible. And the only thing that I don't know is that the only thing I know is that I don't know anything at all. If you look at life in that way, then you start to realize that your reality will open up only if you allow it to. So thank you for kind of spurring that incredible information. So I want to talk briefly about protection against dark entities and evil entities or whatever. I don't like using the word evil, but lower vibrational frequencies. Okay, I don't believe in protection. Sorry, I don't. And you know why? Because once again, we create our own reality. So if I were to tell all of you in every single moment, you need to protect yourself against the fourth dimension, you need to protect yourself against these dark entities, then you're gonna tiptoe around life in this energy field of protection. And what does the mindset of protection create? The mindset of protection creates the mindset of attack. We don't want to be in survival mindset. You don't have to protect yourself in every moment, okay? So let go of protection. I will give you a really good example of how to use protection in a beautiful way, okay? So utilizing your protection in the way of intuitiveness. And so what I do is I just leave myself open. If I receive a message or an intuitive feeling that I need to be more protected in that moment than usual, then I will go ahead and protect myself. And I don't do it in a defense mechanism way. I do it in a very different way. So the other day, actually just yesterday, I had a client, and right before we get into our session, it was first-time client, right before we get into our session, I heard the message, protection. And in that moment, I said, okay. So what I did was I wrapped myself up into a bubble, okay? I put myself into a bubble. I saw the cord connecting myself to my client across the world, and I put a bubble of protection around our cord, and then I put a bubble of protection around her. And that's what I did. Now, and I'm so glad that I did, because the information that she asked about was all about, reptilians, the cabal, the truth behind this world. So I'm really glad I kind of just, gave it a little protection. So the protection that I use is not a defense mechanism. It's an invisibility cloak, okay? Kind of like this one. So what I do is, and I've gone through a lot of different kind of techniques and things. But what I do these days is I put myself into an invisibility cloak only when I feel called to do so. And basically, that makes me invisible to any vibrations that are lower than my own. Therefore, I really only attract vibrations that are vibing with the same vibration that I'm on. And it works every time. It works so well, in fact, that my girlfriend and I went walking somewhere. And I once again heard, put the invisibility cloak on, and I did. And I put this bubble of kind of pure transparent light, invisibility around myself and my girlfriend. And we almost got hit by a car. And she's like, shit, like, why didn't that person see us? And I start laughing and I said, you know what? I'm so sorry, but I put us in an invisibility cloak before we left and they literally didn't see us. So I didn't have any bad feelings, around that car, that individual. I felt bad that they got freaked out, that they couldn't see us and then they saw us last minute. So anyway, invisibility is much better than protection, and only do it when your soul, your intuition calls out for it. Okay, great. I really, really want to put it out there just really quickly. Please, please, please like, comment, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on Facebook, go onto my Instagram. I have a huge giveaway right now. If you go onto my Instagram, you follow my Instagram page, you like the photo on Instagram, and you tag a friend on Instagram, okay, you're entered to win a huge merch giveaway, a free t-shirt, a free crystal set, and a free awakening calendar for 2019. So do that right now. Go over to my Instagram or right after this live video. It's super big giveaway, and I'm trying to kind of lead people over to that realm because I post every day. I mean, Instagram, not post, but I put out stories every day. If you want to be updated on my life and on my orbs and on all my interdimensional, explorations, you want to follow me on Instagram. That is where I will keep you updated on my day-to-day life. Okay, great. So let's talk about a manifestation tip. This is really important, and this has been coming through really clearly in the past couple of weeks. Okay, so really, really quickly here, really simple. All you have to do is you have to say no in order to manifest what you want. And I'm just going to let that sink in for a second. In order to manifest what you want, you have to say no first. And I've got Jocelyn here asking me about my Instagram handle. So on Instagram, it's the little @ symbol, @elizabeth.april. And I'll pop up right there with a little alien in between. So follow me on Instagram, elizabeth.april. Okay, so super important. You have to say no in order to say yes to manifestation. Here's the problem. We're all living through our old paradigm. We're all living through our old programming. And what happens is if we keep saying yes to opportunities and things and realities that we don't want in our life, the universe keeps giving us the stuff that we don't want. Okay, so say, for example, you're like, okay, I want to manifest my dream job. A lot of people are kind of in this state of manifestation. So you're like, I want to manifest my dream job. Cool, awesome. So you send out 50 resumes, you get 3 job offers back. None of those 3 job offers are what you want. Say, for example, they're all doing the same thing that you just left. You just left a job doing the exact same thing. But because of fear, because of scarcity, because of programming, you're like, oh, well, you know what? I've done that before. It's easy. It's okay money. It's not really what I want, but I'm worried that I'm not going to find what I want. So I'm going to say yes to that anyway. No, you have to say no to what you don't want to clear the space, to clear the energy for the things that we do want in our life. Here's what happens when we start to change our reality. the universe, which is you, okay, the universe will tempt you with things that you used to say yes to make sure that you have actually changed, right? So the second we're like, you know what? I want to change. I want a new job. We're going to be faced with opportunities in the current job to force us to stand in our power and ask for what we want. You have to be strong enough to say no to what you don't want in order to allow what you do want in, okay? Once again, you cannot get, where's that diagram? You can't get to the fifth dimension. You cannot get here to what you want, this dream life. You can't get here without saying no to here first. We're here, we're all here, right? You can't get here without surpassing this, going through the challenge of being forced basically to stand in your power and say no to what you don't want. Does that make sense? It's so important that you all know that you have to start saying no more often to clear space in your life to say yes to what you do want. Okay. And someone is asking up here, you know, what if I get fired from my job? And that's a good question. So, and I've gone through breakups where it feels like it wasn't in my control. I've gone through, you know, job losses where I feel like it wasn't in my control. And in that moment, we all want to play the victim. In that moment, we all want to say, oh no, you know, it was my boss's fault. It was, you know, my ex-boyfriend. It was, you know, it was all of these factors that weren't me. It wasn't my fault. You know, why is life just shitting on me at this time? Okay. It's not. It is all your fault. Okay. And it's not even your fault. It's your manifestation. You manifested that job loss. You manifested that breakup. You manifested it because your soul was not resonating with that energy anymore. And you didn't have balls big enough to say no. That's exactly what it is, okay? These things happen to us in life. They're taken away from us because the reality is those things aren't supposed to be in our life. And yet we know we're not strong enough to say no to them. So we're being forcefully pushed out of things that don't serve us. So you can actually go ahead and thank the universe for pushing you out of your job, because guaranteed that job, that relationship, that house was not serving you. And now your space is free and clear to create something that really does serve you. It is your time right now, your time right now at this time to ask for what you want, to manifest your truest desires, and to finally live the life that you deserve to live. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. It's time, if you want to really awaken, okay, so I keep pointing at you, but if you want to awaken, it's time for all of you, all of us, to take full responsibility over every action, every reaction, every attachment, and every thought that we have. Because if we're blaming others for our reality, then we are living an unconscious life. Take your power back and realize that all of the greatest things in your life you've created and manifested, and all of the shittiest things in life you've created and manifested. There is literally no other thing that exists other than you creating your own reality. If you weren't here right now, you wouldn't be creating this reality. You're the only one who is attracting things and pushing things away from you. That's it. It is no one else's fault. Okay, I like that. Autopilot off. Doo-doo. Okay, all right, so let's move forward. Okay, I wanna get into the fear versus love exercise, and then we're going to finish it off with a channeled message. So super awesome. And Instagram here, Instagram only allows me to be on for 1 hour. So I'm gonna have to say an early goodbye to all of you on Instagram. But please, 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 if you want to hear the exercise, if you want to go through the exercise, hop over to either Facebook or YouTube right now. Just Elizabeth April right now. Hop over to Facebook or YouTube to participate in this exercise. Okay, so we're going to be going through a fear versus love exercise, everyone. And I want you to put your pens down. I want you to maybe light some sage, maybe an incense stick, okay? And I want you to just take a couple of deep breaths right now. Just really quiet your mind. Okay, so we're going to begin the exercise. I want you all to close your eyes. Don't worry, you're safe. You're exactly where you need to be. No one's going to harm you. You can just relax. It's really important that you do this, not for me, but for you. So I want you to close your eyes and I want you to think about something fearful. What is one thing that scares the shit out of you? Okay. Okay. Yes. If you're driving, please don't do this exercise. You can just think about it, as you have your eyes open. So I want you to really think about one thing that scares you. Okay. So just imagine this in your mind. And this could be a confrontation with your father. This could be an attachment to a memory. This could be, being scared of a spider. Okay. But what is one thing that really scares you? Really, I just really want you to embody that thing. I want you to have that thing, that energy, that emotion. I want you to have that in front of you right now. Okay. So have that fear. And I want you to feel that fear in your body. And maybe it's the fear of losing someone. Maybe it's the fear of gaining weight. Maybe it's the fear of dying alone, right? But have that fear and have it in front of you and manifest it into a visual if you can. Maybe it's a dark form, a dark mass. What is that fear? I want you to think about that fear. I want you to embody that fear. So, doing a couple of deep breaths, having that fear in front of you. I want you to feel that fear in your body. Where does that fear sit? Is it in your lower abdomen? Is that fear in your back? Is it in your shoulders? Is it in your mind? Where does that fear sit in your body? And I want you to confront that fear. I want you to take a moment to really be with that fear. And as you confront that fear, I want you to send that fear love. I want you to embody this beautiful white light. I want you to tell the fear that it will never have power over you anymore. I want you to give that fear, the embodiment of that fear, that place in your body. I want you to give that vibration love through a hug. I want you to hug your father or your brother or that spider or that feeling, that vibration, that fear. I want you to give it the most authentic, real, loving, emotional, heartfelt hug that you have ever given in your entire life. And I want you to thank that fear. I want you to thank yourself for having that fear for such a long time. And I want you to thank yourself for having that fear because that fear taught you how to be a stronger person. That fear taught you how to overcome what was bringing you down. And lastly, I want you to give that fear a gift, whether it be an energy, an emotion, a confrontation, an image. I want you to give it a gift. It could be anything. It could be the gift of love. It could be a rose. It could be the embodiment of your vibration and energy. But I want you to give that fear a gift. And I want you to thank that fear for being in your life and hug it. And then I want you to say goodbye and leave it because it will never affect you again in the same way that it has before. And now coming out of that place of love and passion and compassion and authenticity, I want you to write this affirmation down in your notebook. And the affirmation is, as I stand in love, I choose to take my power back. And once again, as I stand in love, I choose to take my power back. Okay, beautiful. Anytime you have any fear come up at all in life, I want you to say that affirmation to yourself. As I stand in love, I choose to take my power back. No longer will darkness, no longer will fear, no longer will low vibrational temptations have any power over you. And every choice that you make out of fear, I want you to love yourself that much more for making that choice in fear, because it's very clear that somewhere deep inside you, you were hurting when you made that choice, because hurt people hurt other people, and that's it. So love yourself when making choices in fear. And love yourself, especially right now, for making the choice to be here on this beautiful Monday evening. So I'm going to go over the announcements, and then I'm going to channel a message for everyone who has been amazingly in this live video. And I want to see what the guides have to say at this time. Okay, so a couple of the announcements. Once again, Awakening Calendar is completely released. You can buy it right now, and Lauren is going to be posting in Facebook and YouTube. So the Awakening Calendar, purchase it right now. Amazing monthly activities, intentions, downloads, all of that great stuff. Second point is Depression and Anxiety, How to Be Happy webinar is being released this Sunday. You can still purchase tickets that are $44 Canadian on my website right now under schedule. Okay, so Depression and Anxiety, How to Be Happy webinar released this Sunday. So check it out. Also, if you haven't already seen my telepathic video on YouTube, check it out now. Just released it on Friday. And then, of course, a huge, huge giveaway. All you have to do is follow me on Instagram, like one of my photos, and tag a friend, and you will be entered to win a free t-shirt, a free calendar, and a free crystal set with a meditation. So check that out. Huge giveaway. Go over to my Instagram, like it, follow me there, and you will be entered to win. Okay, so let's do the channeled message, and then we're going to do a draw, okay, and see who has won a ticket to this week's webinar. So just 1 second, everyone. Let me just tap into all of your energies, see what's going on, and what the guides have to say. And last week was pretty crazy with the wave and the crack in the earth, and let's see what's going on this week. Mm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. 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 Okay, so I received this image. Now, if you know me, then you know that everything I receive comes to me through the third eye, so it comes to me as a visual. It's so interesting. I keep getting weather downloads. Like, I don't know, it's just so weird, but I get this image of snow, okay, trickling down, and the guides who were giving me this image, which are the Palladians, were giving me the image of snow, and what were they saying? Oh yeah, they were utilizing my analogy of when we are separate from source, we are snowflakes, right? So as we are falling to earth, we are snowflakes, we are separate from source. And then they show me that while we hit the ground and we warm up, we come together as basically water. And so the guides were saying that within this past year, everyone's been hibernating, everyone's been separate from source, everyone's been kind of on their own, right, at this time. And then moving into 2019 and 2020, we are all meant to get together. We are all meant to come together as an ocean. This is our time for communication. This is our time for community. It is our time for connection. So all of us are yearning a more authentic existence. We're all yearning to connect to other high vibrational light worker beings. This is your time to become the river, to become the ocean. Okay, so it's really, really important. So go out, find a meetup group, go do, a paint night, go salsa dancing, whatever it is that you feel you need to do. Come together with a community. It doesn't have to be spiritual, but come together in a community. And then the other image that I got that I thought was really interesting, and I had to ask about what this meant, was an image of a triangle. And then on top of the triangle is a board. Okay, it's kind of like a teeter-totter. And then they basically, the Palladians were basically saying that this is the time where the scale is tipping. And this is such an exciting piece of news, because the more and more we come together as a collective consciousness and we support each other in the awakening, the more and more we tip the scales in the direction of the light and the fifth dimension and the high vibrational frequency, rather than within the dark. Okay, this is our time to come together as a collective and to tip the scales so that the 99% are the ones ruling rather than the 1%. Which is a really cool message. So hopefully that resonates with all of you. I think we're all kind of feeling that at this time, especially as we enter into the end of this epic and crazy and chaotic and revolutionary and, ego death kind of year. So we're all kind of there at this time. And then let's do a draw. Now, there's over 300 names in here. If you have reviewed me on Facebook or Google, then your name is in here. Lots of names in here. I'm going to pull 2 names for a free ticket to this week's webinar on Sunday. Now, I always specifically put an intention for these people to basically, if you're suffering, if you are depressed, if you're looking for happiness, if you can't afford a webinar ticket, then your name will be pulled. And that's just the way energy works. So there's no disappointment if your name wasn't pulled, because your name is in there for something that is more attuned to your vibration. Hopefully that makes sense. All right. Okay, so just 1 second. First name here. Sending good vibes. Drum roll. Okay. I feel the first name. All right, let's see who this is. Okay, awesome. Amanda Amelsfort. I always botch the last names. Amanda, congratulations. You are our lucky winner for this week's webinar. Let's see if we can get another name in here. Okay, got another one. Yes. All right. It is Amanda Amesfort. Amelsfort. Congratulations, Amanda. Okay. This is another tough name. Okay. So the second winner, another female. Dun, 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 and it's Maggie, spelled M-E-G-I, Maggie Milosevec. Maggie Milosevec, congratulations. There you are. The light is too bright, but I will contact both you, Amanda, and Maggie with your free ticket. And for the rest of you, review me or just stay tuned every single live, because I pull names every single week. So thank you all so much. Have another incredible week. Bring conscious awareness to every single moment. Love yourself in every single moment. You're having this experience for a reason. It's time to live up your human existence. Eat good food, taste good wine, do a little bit of stretching, do a little bit of meditating, and keep up the good work, everyone. Okay, so sending you all good vibes, and keep asking for what you want, because you are in alignment to receive it. Okay. Bye, Facebook. See you next week. Bye, YouTube. See you all next week.